Hello, everybody. Let's get started this time. This time we'll be talking about present perfect, as you probably noticed. Um, how are you today, by the way? I haven't asked you, but it's really important. So let me know how your Monday was and whether you are planning to go out later just after this webinar because it's still quite bright outside. I'm probably gonna do that because a little bit of exercise or something like that is necessary. Can you hear me well, by the way? I hope that everything is working because I haven't checked before because I just finished the class with my student. And then I started the webinar. So honestly, I don't know whether. Okay, I see that Ilona cannot see me. Okay, but what about the other students? If you cannot see me, I'll try to just refresh the camera and probably it should be working then. Okay, there is a video. So perfect. Okay, just let me refresh it. Okay, I'll restart the camera. What about now? It should be working now. Is better? I don't know what else can I do here because it should be working still. Just give me a moment. I'll come back in a second. Okay, I'll come back in a second. Maybe it will be working. Just wait for me. What about now? Can you see me now? Maybe it will be better without seeing me because my face today is like, not its best, but okay, now it's working. Now it's working. Okay, perfect. So, as I said, today we'll be talking about present perfect, in many different situations. So, I hope that after this webinar, it will be to you clear how to use that and that tense. It's not difficult webinar, and I hope that you will just get as much um, as possible from this webinar for yourself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tom, and I've been here for some time. I'm also a tutor. I've got my own business. I've got my own language school, so I work here additionally because I just like it. But if you would like to have classes with me on Tutlo, you can see me in the mornings only. I only maybe sometimes it may happen that I log when it's afternoon, but it barely happens, and I just have the other work to do. So let's get started. Today we'll be talking about present perfect, and we take around 20 minutes, 20 something, and then there will be a summary and extra exercises for you so that you can practice everything. Let's move on to the first thing that we've got there. Of course, in case of questions, you can also ask me anytime. Firstly, let's look at the structure that we have here. So remember that in present perfect, we use have. Yeah, we have as an auxiliary verb. Then we use just past participle. Past participle is like the verb in the third form. And so I've been to Scotland. Yeah, it's like the example. I have been. Yeah, been is past participle, so the third form of the verb. And question is like in reverse. So we use then have or has depending on the subject. Then we have subject and still verb in the third form. And finally negative. So we just add not to have or has. And of course, still we have past participle. It's better with normal examples. So let's move on to the how just to use it because it will be easier to remember. And so the first use of this tense is to talk about the thing that started in the past and continuous, up to the present. Yeah, up to the present. It's mostly with state verbs, so things like know. Live is not exactly state verb, yeah, so it's really important. So here you have two pictures, and the first one is about friends and the second one is about the flat. So in the first one you can say that they've known each other for 10 years. Yeah, they've known each other for 10 years. And the second one is a bit different. So here you have like a flat, so it's about living in some place. So they've been living or they've lived, yeah, they've lived in some place for, I don't know, 5 years. So it's something that started in the past. Their friendship started in the past and it's up until now. The same is with living. So you started living somewhere and you lived in this place up until now. So that's the meaning. Let's look at the examples. So a little bit of practice. So what we'll have here? What about the first example? I use some fixed expressions so that you can, practice additionally. So they've been friends for 20 years. This is the first one. And what about the second? Was rather not here. So they've been friends for 20 years, the first example. And the second one, she has lived, yeah, here since she was 9. As you can see, 4 with periods, so like 5 years, 10 years, 5 months, and so on with periods. And since we use with point in time, so for example, when she was 9, since yesterday, since last month, and so on, point in time, or since 2005. Or you can say that um, we've been working remotely since the start of pandemic, yeah, or something like that. It's correct to use. Now, here you have the answer, so you can look at it once again. So they've been friends for 20 years, and she has lived here since she was 9. And now let's talk about the next use that we have here. So something that recently finished. So I use that even today. I use it even today when I told you that I've just finished the class with my student, and then I started the webinar. So I finished the classes with my student at honestly around 7 p.m. So I told you I've just finished classes with my student, and it's very fresh. Yeah, it's still fresh. It's a recent action. So then we use present perfect as well, and that is just a real situation. So let's have a look at those two pictures. So the first one is with friend. Probably you've just seen your friend, this frog. Let's call this frog, I know, Sam Smith. Okay, Sam Smith, it doesn't look like a frog, but, but still, whatever. Yeah, Smith is popular surname. And of course, we have the president, of course, ex-president, but still. So we can say that the president has just announced something. So it's still very new to you, I mean, the information. So that's why we say it in this way. So let's practice with those two exercises. It somehow refers to the pictures that you've just seen. Uh, you see how we can use this tense well. And here you can, I just would like you to change it into the right form. So I've just seen Lucy. Okay, let's say that the Lucy was this, frog, this second one, not Sam Smith. I know how did I come up with it? Okay, I've just seen a Lucy, and the second one, the president has announced a new plan for the railways recently. I would rather say that the president has just announced how much money or something gonna be sent out, or what to do with the inflation, or soaring prices of the things, or the shortage of food, or things like that. Yeah, this is like from current news, from current news. Below you can see some other expressions that are just common to use with these tense, and let's move on to the next one. So as I told you before, that we use present perfect, which is with the events that start in the past and last until now. This was one use. The second use was with the recent actions, and also we have that with finished actions, but with a result in the present. So it might be about, it might be about my trip to Bieszczady. So um, after Bieszczady, I had like some problems with my leg. Yeah, so I've strained my leg or something, or some muscle, and I felt it even after, some pain. So I had to go to physiotherapies, and to do something, some extra exercises and stretch, and so on. So it is like the example. Here you have two pictures. So the first one with somebody who broke the arm or hand here, and the second one is with a key. So the examples might be as follows. Yeah, so if you could firstly tell me the answers here in those two sentences, and then I'll clarify you why this stands. The first one, he has broken his arm, and the second one about keys, I've lost my keys. So it's about something that happened somehow in the past, but still has some consequences. So when you break your arm or something, then you still can feel it. Maybe you have just a cast or something, and with losing your key, you have to look for it. You have to just make a new pair of them, and yeah, it takes some time. It's a burden. It's some kind of hassle that you have to um, manage, deal with. So that's why it's present perfect here. You can see right now how to use it properly. And the very last one is about the period of time that is not over yet. So let's have a look at that. It's very similar to the first thing that you had before. Here it's about coffee and some friendship. So let's have a look at this example. So what will be in the first and in the second one? So she has drunk 3 cups of coffee this morning. Okay, so this morning it's not over. Yeah, it's not over the situation. And the second one, they haven't seen each other this year. This year, so it's also not over. It may still happen. That's why we use this tense as well here. But I see that your answers are correct, so you know how to use the structure. But I wanted just to show you how to use it properly. I mean, in what different situations. I know it might be tough, but after some time, you just get used to it, especially if you see some fixed expressions that you can use it with. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the last one about life experience. So it can be about visiting different places. Here we have Tokyo, and the second one is Paris. So let's have a look at these examples. So the first one, I've never been to Tokyo, and the second one, have you ever been to Paris? Yeah, so these are the answers. So it's about experience. I mean, experience, which is like flying somewhere, having a trip there, and so on. Yeah, so it's mostly about it. Here we can see the answers. Additionally, I see that all of you answered properly, so that's really important. And the last one is like to check your knowledge of everything that we have had so far. So tell me, please, what will be here? The first is, have you ever been abroad? The second one would be never, the second one. So we've never seen this film. hmm Third one, I've just phoned Jill. Might be never in fourth one. And the last one, the very last one. So what have you done? What might be there? In fourth might be also already. Yeah, might be also already. So it means that it happened in your life. So in fourth, and the last one is about yet. Yeah, what have you done yet? It means like what did you manage to do up until now? So what have you done today? It's also a good answer. You can also use it. So or so far. So have you ever been abroad? We've already seen this film. I've just found Jill. She has never been to Japan. And finally, what have you done so far? Okay, so everything was perfect here, and now just a small exercise with scenes and for. In the first one, he has been a waiter for 18 years, and they've been married. When we have something like fixed, as I told you, like since yesterday, since last month, since 2000 and something, then we use scenes. Yeah, then we use scenes for points in time. So the first one is for periods, and then scenes with point in time. So like 2005. And that's it. That's it. I hope that it was not so difficult for you. I'm sending you additional exercise. This website is awesome. So firstly, just read everything which is in description or just explanation, and then do the exercise. I'm sure that it will help you greatly to remember everything what we've covered. But maybe you have some questions to me. So I'll be waiting for them. So if you have any, I'm waiting. If you have any, I'm waiting. Or maybe you enjoy the webinar, or maybe you have some suggestions or advice for me to give, yeah, or anything. If not, I'll just run two poll questions. So the first question is already there, and the second one will be there soon. Okay, so thank you so much for this answer, and here is the second one. Which terms do I need to use when I describe my some trip? I've been to Paris, and okay. So when it's past, then we just use past simple. Um, but when you are not specific about the time, then you can use present perfect. It really depends, and mm, you know, It really depends what you are telling about. If you talk about the life experience, you're not specifying the time, you can use present perfect. But if you are giving the dates, that it was like 2 years ago or something, then past simple. So it really, really depends. It's not the webinar about the differences between past simple and present perfect. It will be like a bit more complex. Uh, but the situations, the sentences that you've seen, these are definitely typical for present perfect. And telling stories is mostly using past tenses, mostly past tenses, sometimes present tenses for more, like dynamic stories. So it's a bit more challenging. Okay, and of course, if you have time, have a look on Tutlo social media. And if you have any questions to me, you can write to me on Facebook. Here is the direct link, or maybe you'd like to have classes on Tutlo. So then just also reach me out there. And for today, I thank you so much, and I wish you just a nice evening, as it's still pretty bright outside. It's good to have a walk, even 5 minutes, yeah, or something around. Thanks a lot for today and see you soon, hopefully. Bye.